Here is a 3 by 3 grid of numbers. Is it a tensor? Maybe, maybe not. Because the very same numbers written in a different coordinate system become a completely different set of numbers. Same object. So what exactly is a tensor? Why do physicists, mathematicians, and machine learning people all use the same word? Welcome. But what is a tensor? Ask a physicist. They will say a tensor is a quantity with indices that transforms in a specific way. Ask a machine learning engineer. They will say a tensor is just a multidimensional array. Ask a mathematician. They will say a tensor is a multidimensional array. These sound like different stories, but they are pointing at one structure from different angles. Are all three talking about the same thing? By the end of this video, we will know exactly. Let's start with objects you already know. A single number is a scalar, a rank 0 tensor. An arrow with a direction is a vector, a rank 1 tensor. A grid of numbers is a matrix, a rank 2 tensor. And a tensor is the natural generalization of all of these. This rank staircase is useful intuition, but it is still not the main idea. The key is not the rank itself. It is the rule they all share. Look at this vector. Rotate the coordinate axis, and the components change. But the arrow itself, the direction it points, does not move. The numbers changed. The physical object did not. This is the central tension in understanding tensors. The essence of a tensor is not the numbers. It is the transformation rule hiding behind it. Start with the thermometer. It reads 37 degrees Celsius. Now, switch to Fahrenheit and the display becomes 98.6. The written number changed because the coordinate scale changed, but the physical temperature in the room did not budge at all. That is the key idea behind a scalar. A scalar has one component, and when you rewrite that component in a different description, the number may look different, while the underlying physical quantity remains exactly the same. The physics stays fixed, only the label changes. So the scalar is not the numeral by itself. It is the underlying measurable temperature that survives every relabel. Vectors are richer than scalars. Take this arrow in the plane and imagine it as a real geometric object. Now, rotate the coordinate axis around it. The arrow itself stays exactly where it is in space, but the pair of numbers used to describe it changes. So the components are not absolute facts about nature. They depend on the coordinates you chose. The geometric arrow is the true object, and the component pair is only the shadow cast onto your current basis. Here is the subtle rule that makes vectors precise. If the basis vectors get longer or rotate, the vector components compensate in the opposite way. If the basis stretches, the numbers shrink. If the basis rotates, the numbers rotate through the inverse rule. That inverse behavior is called contravariance, and we mark it with an upper index. In Einstein notation, the transformed components are written with the upper index to remind us that the component law runs opposite to the basis change. But not every arrow-like object follows the vector rule. Consider a scalar field, like elevation, on a mountain, and look at its gradient. The gradient tells you the direction of steepest increase. Keep the physical field fixed and rotate the basis underneath it. The geometric mean of the gradient has not changed, but the component update law now follows a different pattern. This is the first hint that there is a dual kind of object living alongside ordinary vectors. Covectors transform with the basis change itself. That behavior is called covariance, and we mark it with a lower index. So now compare the two laws side by side. Upper index means contravariant, the vector case. Lower index means covariant. This is one of the most important conventions in Einstein notation because it tells you immediately how the components must respond when coordinates change. Tensors keep track of both kinds of indices at once. A matrix can be viewed as a tensor because it acts on vectors in a structured way. Feed in one vector and a new vector comes out. In the picture, the unit circle is pushed into an ellipse. What matters is not the table of numbers alone, but the geometric action that table represents. Now rotate the coordinates. The matrix entries change because the basis changed, but the geometric action stays the same. The ellipse is still the same ellipse, and the linear map still sends vectors to the same transform vectors in space. So the numbers move around while the underlying transformation remains invariant. Now the formal definition. A rank P-Q tensor is a multilinear map. It takes P covectors and Q vectors and returns a real number. Multilinear means linear in each input separately, so each slot has its own linear behavior. This definition sounds abstract, but it gives the exact rule behind the component formulas we write on screen. You already know the main examples. A scalar is rank 0, 0. A vector is rank 1, 0. A linear map is rank 1, 1. The metric tensor Gij is rank 0, 2. These are not unrelated objects. They all fit into the same tensor language once we focus on how they transform under a change of coordinates. Here is the AR moment. Rotate the coordinates around the ellipsoid, and the ellipsoid does not move at all. What changes are the components used to describe it in that coordinate system? Those components do not change randomly. They change by a strict linear transformation rule, and that lawful change is exactly what makes the object a tensor. Here is the counterexample. Suppose a collection of numbers changes arbitrarily after a coordinate change with no consistent relation to the old components. Then it is not a tensor, no matter how many indices it has. The transformation law is the real test. Obey that rule and you have a tensor. It and you only have arbitrary data. Scalar, vector, matrix, tensor. What makes the last one special? Coordinates change numbers, but not the object. Tensors track that law. scalar, vector, matrix, tensor, a ladder that still needs rules. An array alone is not enough. Transformation behavior decides tensorhood. Scalars stay the same when you rotate coordinates in ordinary space. Vectors keep geometry, while components change with every basis change you make. Matrices act on space, and their entries transform with the basis too. Higher rank arrays add indices, but rank alone still proves nothing essential. Vector components follow a basis change rule that preserves the same geometry. For rank 2, each index brings its own transformation factor too. Now let us anchor the idea with concrete physical examples today. In curved space, local distance needs a varying metric tensor field. The metric tensor turns tiny displacements into real measurable distance locally. Local basis vectors can tilt or stretch. The metric records that. Now we can state that geometry law explicitly. The metric tensor defines distance through ds squared between nearby points. Its components encode local geometry, including curved and tilted spatial directions. The stress tensor tracks pushes and shears on a tiny cube. Rotate coordinates and stress components still obey the same tensor rules. In modern machine learning, tensors often mean stacked multidimensional data arrays. That engineering tensor is useful, but not the strict math definition. Upper and lower indices transform differently and carry real geometric meaning. Outer products build the tensors, and the contractions simplify them into scalars again. Across space, tensors vary point by point as geometric tensor fields. A tensor is a multilinear object with lawful coordinate shadows everywhere. Staircase intuition plus transformation rules gives the full picture. Metric means geometry. Stress means force. Tensors connect math to reality. A tensor is geometry described by components that transform lawfully. Same arrow, different components. That mismatch is the tensor problem. Scholars use one number, vectors, lists, matrices, tables of numbers. Arrays store data. Tensors add rules or changing coordinates. Rank counts indices. 0 scalar, 1 vector, 2 matrix entries. Change basis and components move. The geometric vector itself stays. Vector components transform by a strict linear change of basis rule. Rank 2 objects. Transform index by index under basis changes. Higher rank tensors are component grids addressed by several indices. Indices are addresses, and they also control tensor transformation behavior. A tensor is an array with a valid change law. Separate object from components. Coordinate move while structure stays meaningful. Tensors appear in stress, inertia, diffusion, curvature, and many more. Higher rank formulas get messy, so notation must stay compact. Repeated indices, int, add contraction. Einstein notation makes it explicit. Track-free and repeated indices. They organize 4 tensor equations. Switch to notation that keeps equations readable. Einstein notation hides sums when one upper and lower index repeat. Repeated dummy indices. Sum. Free indices stay visible component labels. A tensor field assigns one tensor to every point in space. Tensor products build larger tensors from factors. Recap. Tensors are arrays obeying coordinate change laws. That idea unifies algebra, geometry, mechanics, and relativity. Change coordinates lawfully, and the underlying object stays the same. Let us map the whole tensor family one last time. At the root sits the tensor itself. From that root, we branch into scalars, vectors, Covectors, matrices, metric tensors, stress tensors, and curvature tensors. Each one looks different, yet all of them obey the same deep rule. Coordinates may rotate, stretch, or relabel the components. The physical or geometric object does not disappear. A tensor is the structure that keeps that meaning stable across every coordinate system, across every basis change, and across every notation we use to describe it. So here is the clean definition. A tensor is a geometric object whose components change under coordinate transformations according to precise linear rules, so the quantity it represents remains the same object in the world. That is why scalars, vectors, metrics, stress, and curvature all fit inside one language. New coordinates, new numbers, same physical reality every single time, everywhere. Next time, contraction, curvature, and Einstein's field equations. Thanks for watching.